שירו לאדוני, שיר חדש, שירו לאדוני, כל הארץ, שירו לאדוני, ברכו שמו, בסכו מיום ליום ישועתו. שירו לאדוני שיר חדש, שירו לאדוני כל הארץ, שירו לאדוני ברכו שמו, בסכו מיום ליום ישועתו. ספרו בגויים כבודו, לכל העמים נפלאותיו, כי גדול אדוני ומהולל מאוד, נורא הוא על כל אלוהים. שירו לאדוני שיר חדש, שירו לאדוני כל הארץ, שירו לאדוני ברכו שמו, בסכו מיום ליום ישועתו. ספרו בגויים כבודו, לכל העמים נפלאותיו, כי גדול אדוני ומהולל מאוד, נורא הוא על כל אלוהים. שירו לאדוני שיר חדש, שירו לאדוני כל הארץ, שירו לאדוני ברכו שמו, בסכו מיום ליום ישועתו. ספרו בגויים כבודו, לכל העמים נפלאותיו, כי גדול אדוני ומהולל מאוד, נורא הוא על כל אלוהים. שיר לאדוני, שיר לאדוני, שיר לאדוני. ספרו בגויים כבודו, לכל העמים נפלאותיו, כי גדול אדוני ומהולל מאוד, נורא הוא על כל אלוהים. שירו לאדוני שיר חדש, שירו לאדוני כל הארץ, שירו לאדוני ברכו שמו, בסכו מיום ליום ישועתו. שירו לאדוני שיר חדש, שירו לאדוני כל הארץ, שירו לאדוני ברכו שמו, בסכו מיום ליום ישועתו. שירו לאדוני שיר חדש, שירו לאדוני כל הארץ, שירו לאדוני ברכו שמו, בסכו מיום ליום ישועתו. ספרו בגויים כבודו, לכל העמים נפלאותיו, כי גדול אדוני ומהולל מאוד, נורא הוא על כל שירו לאדוני שיר חדש, שירו מה טוב ומנעים שבדרכים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומנעים שבדרכים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומנעים שבדרכים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומנעים שבדרכים גם יחד. How good it is, how good it is, how sweet it is, how sweet it is to be together on this day. How good it is, how good it is, how sweet it is, how sweet it is to be together on this day. הנה מה טוב ומנעים שבדרכים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומנעים שבדרכים גם יחד. שלום עליכם, סלאם עליכום. שלום עליכם, סלאם עליכום. שלום עליכם, סלאם עליכום. שלום עליכם, סלאם עליכום. How good it is, how good it is, how sweet it is, how sweet it is to be together on this day. How good it is, how good it is, how sweet it is, how sweet it is to be together on this day. הנה מה טוב ומנעים שבדרכים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומנעים שבדרכים גם יחד. שלום עליכם, סלאם עליכום. שלום עליכם, סלאם עליכום. שלום עליכם, סלאם עליכום. שלום עליכם, סלאם עליכום.
It truly is a delight to be all together with our amazing consecrants, the generations here to witness the beginning of this official part of their Jewish lives and learning. Leah, I expect we're going to ask our consecrants to put their baskets on the bima. Is that correct? So everyone put your baskets right here. Thank you, full of wonderful Sukkot offerings that will be donated to those who are food insecure, who have less than we do, at this moment of our festival where we praise God for blessing and bounty. And for now, I'm going to invite you all to go back to your families. We're going to call you up in a little while. And thank you to our confirmands for escorting our students. They too were consecrants. For those of us with confirmands for 10th graders, it seems like just a moment ago. And so as everyone is getting settled, we invite you to open up your Sidurim, your prayer books, turn off your cell phones, or at least put them on Do Not Disturb, so that we can all be fully present, not only to welcome Shabbat, but to mark this amazing moment. We turn to page 3 as we welcome Shabbat with light. It's my pleasure to invite up Julie Kane to lead us in our readings.
O source of light and truth, creator of the eternal law of goodness, help us to find knowledge by which to live. Lead us to take the words we shall speak into our hearts and our lives. Bless all who enter the sanctuary in need, all who bring the offerings of their hearts. May our worship lead us to acts of kindness, peace, and love. Blessed are you, Adonai our God, sovereign of the universe, who hallows us with mitzvot, commanding us to kindle the light of the Sabbath.
Please join me on page 5 with Kiddush. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshonu b'mitzvotav v'rotzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho v'hava uvratzon hinchilanu, zikaron le'maseh v'reshit, ki hu yom techila lemikrae kodesh, zecher litziat Mitzrayim, ki vanu v'chata, notanu kidashta, mikol amim, v'shabbat kodshecha, ve'ahava uvratzon, Hinchatanu, Baruch atah Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat.
L'chaim. We turn now to page 13 as we welcome Shabbat with song and spirit. Yismechu, it is the bottom paragraph. Sing with us.
Yismechu HaShamayim, Yismechu HaShamayim, Yismechu HaShamayim, V'tageh haaretz. Yismechu HaShamayim, Yismechu HaShamayim, Yismechu HaShamayim, V'tageh haaretz. Yiram hayam, Yiram hayam, Yiram hayam u'melah. 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 Yismechu HaShamayim, Yismechu HaShamayim, Yismechu HaShamayim, V'tageh haaretz. Yismechu HaShamayim, Yismechu HaShamayim, Yismechu HaShamayim, V'tageh haaretz.
Turn with us to page 20 as we make ready to welcome the Sabbath bride, singing L'chadodi. We sing verses 1 and 2, 5 and 9. And when we reach verse 9, Bo'и v'shalom, we rise as a congregation to face the entrance of our sanctuary and welcome that Sabbath spirit, that Sabbath bride together with our song and our spirit. And if you're joining us on live stream, remember that you too are part of that spiritual feeling in your own sacred space you create at home, your mikdash ma'at. We hope you too will sing with us with full hearts and full spirits. Page 20, L'chadodi.
L'chadodi, Shabbat nekavela. Shamor v'zachor v'dibur avad. Yishmianu el ha'miluchad. Adonai echad u'shmo echad. Shemo tiferet v'litila. Lech Adoni likrat kala. Pnei Shabbat nekavela. Lech Adoni likrat kala. Pnei Shabbat nekavela. Likrat Shabbat lechur v'nelcha. Ki mikol habracha. Merosh mikerem nesucha. Sof maaseh b'moshavat techila. Lech Adoni likrat kala. Pnei Shabbat nekavela. Lech Adoni likrat kala. Pnei Shabbat nekavela. Hitariri, hitariri. Ki ba'orech umi ori. Uri, uri, shir daveri. Kivod Adonai alayich nigla. Lech Adoni likrat kala. Pnei Shabbat nekavela. Lech Adoni likrat kala. Pnei Shabbat nekavela. Boi v'shalom ateret bala. Gam b'simcha ובטהרה. תוך אמוניה וסגולה. בואי חלה, בואי חלה. לך אלוהי לקראת כלה. פני שבת נקבלה. לך אלוהי לקראת כלה. פני שבת נקבלה.
We're going to invite you to stand up again because we're going to keep standing for a little while longer. But while you do that, turn around to all the people around you, wish them a Shabbat Shalom, wave, give a hand thing, a fist bump, whatever. Let them know you are glad they're here. On page 28, we continue with the Baruch Hu and remain standing through the Shema.
Yeah.
On page 30, we read in the English on the bottom together, praising God for the gift of creation. Blessed are you, Adonai our God, ruler of the universe, who speaks the evening into being, skillfully opens the gates, thoughtfully alters the time and changes the seasons, and arranges the stars and their heavenly courses according to plan. You are creator of day and night, rolling light away from darkness and darkness from light, transforming day into night and distinguishing one from the other. Adonai Tsevaot is your name. Ever-living God, may you reign continually over us into eternity. Blessed are you, Adonai, who brings on evening. Baruch ata Adonai, hama'ariv aravim. On page 33, we read together. As you taught Torah to those whose names I bear, teach me Torah too. Its mystery beckons, yet I struggle with its truth. You meant Torah for me. Did you mean the struggle for me too? Don't let me struggle alone. Help me to understand, to be wise, to listen, to know. Lead me into the mystery. Baruch ata Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Mochuto Leolam Vaed. You may be seated. Please join me in V'ahavta on page 36. V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha v'chol nafshecha v'b'chol me'odecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levonecha v'dibarta bam v'shivtecha b'veitecha v'lechtecha b'derech v'v'shochbecha v'v'kulmecha v'kshartam leot hayadecha v'hayu letotafot b'neinecha v'chtavtam hamezuzot beitecha v'visharecha leman tizkeru v'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'tem kedoshim l'Elohechem ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim liot lachem le'Elohim ani Adonai Elohechem. Amen.
On the top of page 39, we read responsively. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot.
That wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness.
That there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands, marching together. Micha Mocha, page 40.
וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו. ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל.
On page 43. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Adonai, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts, that we may lie down in peace and rise up waiting to do your will. Baruch atah Adonai hapurei sukat shalom aleinu, v'al kol amo Yisrael, v'al Yerushalayim. On page 44, Vishamru. We rise for the Amidah on page 46.
Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor Ve'hanora, Eloyon, Omer Chasadim Tovim, Ve'koneh Hakol, Ve'zocher Chastei Avot V'imahot, U'mevig Ula Livnei V'neihem, Le'ma'an Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer U'Moshiach U'Magen, Baruch Atah Adonai, Magen Avraham Ve'ezrat Sarah, Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechayeh Kol Atah Rav Lehoshia, Morid Atah, Mechakel Chaim Bechesed, Mechayeh Hakol Berachamim Rabim, Somech Noflim Verofeh Cholim, Umatir Asurim, Umekayem Emunato, Lishenei Afar, Michamocha Ba'al Gevurot, Umido Melech, Melech Meimit Umechayeh, Umatzmiach Yeshua, B'ne'eman Atah L'Chayot Hakol, Baruch Atah Adonai, Mechayeh Hakol. Atah Kadosh V'Shimcha Kadosh, U'Kadoshim B'chol Yom Yahalelucha Selah. Baruch Atah Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh.
You may be seated. We continue on page 55. Join with me. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day. And may this day fulfill its promise. Baruch Atah Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat. On page 59. God of goodness, we give thanks for the gift of life, wonder beyond words, for the awareness of soul, our light within, for the world around us so filled with beauty, for the richness of the earth which day by day sustains us. For all these and more, we offer thanks. Baruch Atah Adonai, Hatov Shimcha Olecha Na'eh Lechodot. On page 61, we read together Birkat Shalom, our prayer for peace. Grant us peace, your most precious gift, O eternal source of peace, and give us the will to proclaim its message to all the peoples of the earth. Bless our country as a safeguard of peace, its advocate among the nations. May contentment reign within our borders, health and happiness within our homes. Strengthen the bonds of friendship and fellowship among all the inhabitants of every land. Plant virtue in every soul, and may the love of your name hallow every home and every heart. Praised are you, Eternal One, who blesses our people with peace. Baruch Atah Adonai, HaMevarech et Amo Yisrael. Bashalom. Having prayed for peace in the world, we take a moment now to offer prayers for peace of body and mind, peace of spirit, praying for those who face the future not fully whole. If there's someone in your life, someone you hold in your heart who's in need of healing, I invite you to picture them now and whisper their names out loud. And so their names link to the names of all those who are listed in our order of service. We put our prayers, our prayer heads towards healing as we sing Mishaberach together. The words are on page 253.
Help us find the courage take a moment for your own silent meditations.
I have a special story for you that is all about the secret meaning of Sukkot, the festival we are celebrating right now. It's called So What? Nothing made Rabbi Mordechai happier than starting each day in precisely the same way. First, he checked the alignment of his books and nudged the few that were out of place. Next, he dropped a coin into each of his tzedakah boxes in exactly the same order. The fund for windows, the fund for orphans, the fund for new books. Clink, slink, clonk. Then he'd kiss his children as they went off to school, oldest first, youngest last. So what if you don't kiss them in the right order? They'll all get kissed, his wife Ruth would say, sighing as he lined them up. But Rabbi Mordechai always answered, "It matters to me." Rabbi Mordechai usually looked forward to his trips to the market, but today was the day before Sukkot, and each of the 2,590 steps from his house brought yet another worry. The roof of his family's sukkah, would he cut all the branches exactly the same length? He would probably have to rearrange the children's decorations a few times, and he would never say anything, of course, but the carrots in Ruth's tzimmus were always cut into different sized chunks and sliced every which way. Rabbi Mordechai grimaced. He knew that she would say if he mentioned it, he knew what she would say, but it did matter, it did. He tried to distract himself by thinking instead of what he could control. He was going to spend the next few hours at least poring over a cart laden with lulavim for Sukkot. He would pick the greenest lulav with the tightest, most beautifully arranged branches. He would make sure that the palm branch in the middle was perfectly straight, and the willow on one side was exactly the same height as the sweet-smelling myrtle on the other. And the etrog he would choose. Rabbi Mordechai began to walk more quickly, just imagining it. He would handle each etrog with the gentlest touch, looking for the perfect one that was destined to be his own. He could picture himself saying the blessings over the lulav in one hand, the etrog in the other, the shining faces of Ruth and the children, standing from tallest to shortest, naturally. And they would be gathered around in their cozy sukkah as he shook the lulav in all directions to show that God was everywhere. Ah, he murmured, dizzy with anticipation. Just so, just so. And he burst into happy tears at the vision of perfection. Oh, Rabbi Mordechai, called a voice very close by. I see you are miserable too. His beautiful dream popped into a million pieces. He was just about to answer that his tears were, on the contrary, tears of joy. But the voice interrupted him again, this time crying, oh, woe, what a pathetic wretch I am. At the side of the road sat Minna, the water carrier, sniffling and whimpering. By her side was a skinny horse laying in the mud, along with the broken down wagon it had been pulling. What is to become of me without my poor horse? The woman wept. I made him work too hard, and now look, the poor thing. Rabbi Mordechai cleared his throat. Surely he must offer some comfort. I'm sure it wasn't your fault, he began, but Mina just covered her face with her apron and groaned into it. Oh no, without him, how can I carry all the water to my customers? I'm ruined. Rabbi Mordechai glanced back to the road. Only 100 more pieces to the market. No, probably 110. I'm sure everything will work out okay in the end, he offered weakly. The woman rocked back fiercely, back and forth. How will my poor children survive, she wailed. Now we have nothing. Rabbi Mordechai knew what he had to do. He hesitated for a moment before doing it. Of course, I will give my holiday money to this poor woman, he thought. But that means... His imagination could go no further. Having no lulav, having no etrog would mean a great gaping hole in the middle of his perfect celebration. Look, he told Minna, thrusting all his coins into her apron pocket, I just found this money. Maybe God meant for you to buy a new horse with it. And he ran off. Before the surprised woman could thank him, he was so upset, he didn't even remember to count his steps. When Mordechai got home, he walked around and around his family's sukkah with a distracted air. His oldest daughter grinned with pride as she showed off the roof branches, which were spaced just so. The chairs inside were lined up carefully. The children had even managed to use all the same colors for their decorations. It was the tidiest sukkah imaginable, but it didn't cheer him. Rabbi Mordechai followed the smell of cinnamon from Ruth's simis and wandered into the kitchen. Well, he finally said to her, I'm sorry to say we will not have a lulav or an etrog this year. She stopped chopping onions and said, what happened? Mordecai sighed heavily. You know Minna, the water carrier? Her horse died. I gave her our holiday money to buy a new horse. I know it was the right thing to do, but of course it was the right thing to do, his wife said, nodding and returning to her chopping board. So what if we can't have our own lulav and etrog this year? The poor horse and poor Minna. Rabbi Mordechai was on the verge of answering that it did matter. It mattered a lot. Sukkot is not Sukkot without an etrog to sniff and a lulav to wave. But then he realized how foolish his complaining would sound. And so that night, despite a delicious dinner in the sukkah, singing and dancing and clapping, the order of the holiday was upset, and Rabbi Mordechai was upset too. He slept so fitfully that his wife finally turned over and stared at him. Mordechai, it bothers you, doesn't it? That we do not have a lulav and an etrog to bless, Ruth said. He merely grunted in agreement. I can see you won't feel better until we do, she sighed, getting out of bed. So let's go. Let's go where, Rabbi Mordechai said, pushing his face back into the pillow. Come on. She tossed her shawl over her shoulder, grabbed his arm and pulled him to his feet. He glanced around in bewilderment as they lurched out the front door into the chilly air. Where were they going? Ruth would never steal a lulav, would she? Were they going to borrow someone else's? All this just to make him feel better? Finally, they stopped at the edge of a boggy pasture. Through the early morning haze, they could barely make out Minna's shack. It looked just as shabby as the little barn next to it. A horse, it must be the new one Minna had bought with his money, poked its nose out of the door in curiosity and ambled over to the fence. Ruth, dear, what are we doing here? Said Rabbi Mordechai. His wife waited until the horse nuzzled her hand and said quietly, Blessed is God, who made wonderful things like this in the world. She patted the horse on the nose and turned to her husband. There, now your blessing is said. Wait a minute, that's not right, said Rabbi Mordechai, wrinkling up his nose at the mistake. That's the blessing for seeing something special. So what, said Ruth, holding out her misshapen carrot chunks for the horse to nibble on. 1 million other people may be blessing their lulavim this week to show that God is everywhere, but we're doing the same thing. The only reason the horse is standing here is that you gave tzedakah. You gave your money to help make someone else's life better. If that doesn't show that God is everywhere, I don't know what does. Rabbi Mordechai had no answer. He was too busy counting all the times his wife had been right. That was 43 times just this week. Or was it 44? Oh, he thought, grabbing Ruth's hand and squeezing it happily. What does it matter? This story is so great, not just for Sukkot, but for consecration, because so many times in our lives, things don't go exactly as planned. So many times they're not neat and perfect and just as we were imagining, but it doesn't mean that they're not full of blessing and joy. It doesn't mean that they're not holy. Part of the holiness of life is the messiness of life, and when we can give up something of ours to make other people feel better, that really is how we show that God's presence is everywhere. So to celebrate another special moment, we now want to invite all of our consecrants up onto the bima. They're going to join us here with Cantor Berlin and myself and Leah Apotheker as we are going to share in our special consecration blessing. Parents, grandparents, friends, and family, we have our special consecration ceremony. If you're online with us, it's there under the live stream as well. Everyone can leave their basket, but come on up. And because we're going to open the ark to make our blessing even more special, I'm going to ask everyone in the congregation to stand up too. So what I'm going to ask all of you to do is to face me right now and shmush a little closer. You're lined up very, very nicely, but unlike Rabbi Mordechai, Rabbi Nathan likes things a little messy. So come a little closer, shmush together so you can all be, that's nice, you can all be close to the ark and the Holy Torahs. The ark is this special, beautiful space where we hold all the Torahs. And hopefully soon we can all come back here together and I can answer all your questions about the sanctuary. Okay. Leah Apotheker, are you here? Because you're part of the ceremony. Okay, great. I love ballet shoes. I used to wear ballet shoes all the time too. Okay. Today, we are proud to welcome all of you as our newest students. May you always find joy and excitement and fun in Jewish learning.
To consecrate means to connect with something that is holy. Throughout our tradition, Jewish learning is considered a sacred task. Jews often refer to studying as learning because we take to heart what we study, because it is a lifelong pursuit, and because it is meant to be formative. Studying implies a finite endeavor, but learning suggests a lifelong process.
We welcome you on the journey of lifelong Jewish learning. May God bless you with strength and wisdom, an open mind, and a caring heart.
May the teachings of our tradition inspire you to act with kindness and compassion for others, working in partnership with God to better our world.
Okay, everyone, I'm going to ask you to turn around and face Cantor Berlin, because now is the big moment where we are all going to say the Shema, or we're going to repeat after Cantor, or we're going to say it all together?
Actually, usually they sing it, but since we couldn't sing this year, I taught it to them in sign language,
Oh my God, that's so
which
cool.
they may or may not remember.
Cool. We're all going to
So-
say the Shema.
We're going to say it together, and yeah. So you guys remember? Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Good job.
Beautiful. It is kind of hard, but you know what? Most things that are worth learning and doing in life are kind of hard. Yeah, that makes it hard. Losing one's tooth is hard. All right, now everyone turn around and face the ark again so we can keep blessing you. Cantor. But listen to the cantor because she has a special blessing for you. It's my microphone.
Eternal God, bless these children now and always. May the words of Torah always be sweet to them, and the life of Torah bring light to their eyes and joy to their hearts.
This day, we consecrate all of you to the study of your teaching. As they grow in learning God, may they grow in wisdom, bringing honor to themselves, their family, their congregation, and the house of Israel. Amen. Now, moms and dads, we're going to read this together, and you insert your child's name. Ready? We give thanks for you. You are a precious gift entrusted to us as a sacred responsibility. May we find wisdom to raise you in the tradition of our people, the tradition of Torah and mitzvot, of love and good deeds, of thoughtful search for light. This moment we consecrate our children and ourselves to learn Torah and to live it. Let the joy we feel now always be with us as we walk the paths of life. Okay, so now I need everyone to come closer. Come here. I need to see everyone's eyes. Everyone's eyes on me. I love that. Thank you. Okay, so Cantor and I are going to do a very special blessing for you. If you have already been named, had a bris or a baby naming, we may have already done this for you once before. At your bar and bat mitzvahs, we are going to do it again. And when you get married, which I know is a very long time from now, yeah. I don't know. We'll have to ask her after. But we're going to give this. She was in Sunday school. Then I bet she was, because moms usually tell the truth. Okay. Or not behind me, in front of me. Everyone come in front of me. I need to be able to see your eyes. No. Like off the stairs, my friends. Off the stairs. Because here's the thing. It is not made out of wood. It's made out of marble. We are going to now close our eyes. But I also want you at the same time to open your heart. You think you can close your eyes and open your heart? Just try. Think about that as we share the blessing.
Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha.
May God bless you and keep you.
Yair Adonai panav elecha v'chuneka.
May the light of God's presence shine upon you and be gracious to you.
Yisar Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom.
May God bestow favor upon you and grant you all the blessings you want of love and friendship, happiness and peace. And we all say, you can open your eyes, and we're all going to say, Amen. You say amen? Beautiful. So now I'm going to close the ark because everyone wants to sit down. They're a little tired. You know, it's been a long day. And Leah Apotheker, our Director of Congregational Learning, is going to call out your name, and we're going to hand you a and when you hear your name, we're going to give you a certificate and a special consecration Torah. I want you guys to look out there. Who here who was consecrated got a Torah when you were consecrated? Right? Pretty cool. So what? Don't leave yet. You can't leave without your gifts. So now it's our turn to give you a gift of Torah.
Okay, when I call your name, you're going to take a picture with Rabbi Nathan, okay? So, yes, I know. All right, so Harper Ashley Beck, Gabriella Bat Lila. Okay, go stand with Rabbi Nathan. Okay, and take a picture. Ethan Jeffrey Boyer, Eitan Yosef ben Benjamin Yosef V'Simcha. Okay, there's Ethan. Okay. Okay, everybody else come over here with me. Everybody else come over here with me. Okay, everybody else come over here with me. Good. Okay. Everybody else come on over here with me. Oh, good job, Philip. Evelyn Main Boyer, Chava Sarah, bat Benjamin Yosef V'Simcha. Okay, everybody else come over here with me. Come over here with me, everybody. Okay, good job. Wyatt William Kane, Asher Simcha ben Sarah Aviva. Okay, go over there and get your certificate. Oh, that's the other Asher. We're going to go for William. Asher, you'll hear your name in just a minute. Okay. Charlotte Juliet Drescher, Eliza Yael bat Benjamin Velea. Riley Lucille Epstein, Esther bat Shlomo. Samuel Atticus Freeman, Shmuel Aaron, Ben Darshan Ashiel. Sloan Chava Grace Gill, Miriam Chava Bat Rivka. Asher Michael Gerwitz, Asher Michael ben Benzion V'Shoshana Malka. Ellie Dylan Goldberg, Esther bat Hetzkel Itzchak V'Sara. Austin Paul Caden Hurtlebrink, Aharon Shaul ben Sarah. Sophia Lourdes Jaramillo. Mira Ray Lauren. Maggie Pearl Mandel. Meira Levana bat Yirmiyahu David Velea Chava. Those are Hebrews. Mickey Lawson Penner, Moshe Lev ben Mordechai Aharon V'Shoshana Rachel. Atticus Finn Purvis, Mordechai Daniel ben Ahava Tikva. Nella Lou Rogoff, Ziva bat Zvi Hirsch V'Rachel. Sebastian Isaac Schragen, Yitzchak ben Yaakov V'Chana Panina. Jagger Josiah Sherman, Yaakov Mendel ben Shmuel V'Shoshana. Sagan Alexandria Stromberg, Esther bat Shlomo. Shay Elizabeth Stromberg, Shai bat Shlomo. Jackson Andrew Vexler, Yaakov ben Yechiel Avraham. Jake Joseph Wurzberg, Simcha Yitzchak ben Yosef Vebracha. Reed Orly Wurzberg, Ahava Bina bat Yosef Vebracha. And even though we are done with our consecrants on the bima, we have some consecrants at home. Oh, Philip Wohler. Oh, there you are. Philip Wohler, I didn't see you right behind you. Come stand right here. Feivel Eidan ben Shulamit Miriam. Okay. I don't see it back there. All right, and now that we have cleared our bima of consecrants, we have some consecrants at home. So everyone, we can turn and wave to them and say Mazel Tov to them. Mazel Tov. And we'll call out their names as well. Silas Benjamin Burkus, Simcha Ben Baruch, Aviva Faith Price, Lena Bat Sarah, and Huntley Ann Train, Chana Delilah Bat Yosef Labish Visera Pessel Golda.
Mazel tov to all of you. I will remind you of this moment when you become bar bat mitzvah. Your parents or grandparents will remember, unlikely that you will, but still a very special moment. But we'll have pictures to prove it. We continue now with the concluding portion of our service. Aline, who is on page 283, please rise. You may be seated. As we prepare for the mourner's Kaddish and turn to page 290, we note with sadness the death of our member Frida Fisher. Memorial meditation number 4, a poem by Walt Whitman. Why should I wish to see God better than this day? I see something of God in each hour of the 24 and each moment then. In the faces of men and women I see God, and in my own face in the glass. I find letters from God dropped in the street, and everyone is signed by God's name. And I leave them where they are, so I know that wheresoe'er I go, others will punctually come forever and ever. Thinking of the generations that came before us, those who make a sacred moment like tonight, where we welcome our newest generation into the joys of formal Jewish learning, we remember and consecrate their memories. And on this Shabbat, we consecrate the yahrzeits observed of Sadie Baer, Jacqueline Baker, Dr. Harold Baer, Marvin C. Beck, Roselle Bloom, Ben C. Carr, Joseph W. Carson, Rosalie Chasnoff, David Chozik, Lois Cohen, Martin Colton, Pearl Diamond, Eddie Duchin, Teresa Gell, Dorothy Goodman, Stanley Goodman, Isabel Goodstein, Jack Gorlick, Reva Grinman, John Herr, Edward G. Jackson, Ada Jacobs, Dr. Peter Kamen, Raymond Kaufman, Cynthia Koch, Andrea Lockman, Marjorie Lockman, Shirley Lackritz, Hyman Lebman, Dora Levine, Robert Muir, Arthur Mullen, Edward Oppenheimer, Mosey Paltayevich, Rebecca Pearl, Sam Ricklin, Eleanor Rosenthal, Leon Rosenthal, Irving Rubin, Dr. Norman Rubin, Pauline Doris Rubin, Dorothy Feinsilver Sellinger, Evelyn Siegel, Gerald Silber, Robert Storer, Sam Susser, Marvin I. Unger, Hannah B. Victor, Marvin Warman, Michael Wiener, Jerry Westheimer, Bernard A. Weiderman, Adria Jane Whitkin, and Beatrice Zimmerman. To their memories, we link the names of 6 who in the last 30 days Shloshim have been laid to their eternal rest: Jerry Sivin, Joyce Bradfield, Danielle Christine Howard, Robert Wright, Perry King, and Bernice Porter. And to their memories, we link the names of 4 whose families are in the period of Shiva, they having passed away this past week: Melvin O. Levine, husband of Barbara, father of Janice and Larry Stone and Michael Levine, grandfather of Jacob Rosano, Rachel Leal and Kayla Mooneyham, brother of Sydney and Augusta Levine and Dana Robinson, uncle and great-uncle of many nieces and nephews. Ruth Friedberg, mother of Dr. Michael and Barbara Friedberg and Jean Friedberg, grandmother of John and Joseph Friedberg, aunt of Bernadette Wolf and Dr. Andrew Wolf. Marilyn Golden, sister-in-law of Norman Miller, aunt of Jordy Pollock, Russell Miller, and Adam Miller, great-aunt of Cooper Miller and Charlie Pollock, and life partner of Rabbi David Cooper. And Doris Freed, wife of Saul, mother of Billy and Cheryl Freed, grandmother of Tyler and fiancé Leslie Lugren Freed, and Russell Freed, and sister of Marvin Barish. Zichronam livracha, may their memories be a blessing, along with the memories of those who are in our hearts every day. We turn to page 294 as we rise together as one congregation, sharing in the words of the Mourner's Kaddish together. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah, v'yamad divra chirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayachon u'v'yamechon u'v'chayei d'chol Beit Yisrael, ba'agala u'v'yizman kariv v'yamru amen. Yehei shmei rabbah mivarach le'olam omei omaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei d'kudashah b'rechu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechamata, ta'amiram be'alma v'yamru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chaim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yamru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yamru amen. May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us and to all Israel, to which we say, amen. You may be seated. It's my pleasure to invite up Debbie Ruse, our Executive Vice President of our Board of Trustees, to offer greetings and share some announcements.
Shabbat Shalom. Thank you. It is my absolute pleasure to welcome you all here tonight on such a beautiful fall evening, finally, in such a beautiful synagogue, on such a beautiful holy holiday, on such a beautiful holy day as we welcome all these beautiful children into the journey of lifetime education in the Jewish tradition. I'd like to very much thank our confirmands for escorting our consecrants down the aisle. We get both the beginning and the end of such a beautiful tradition in our congregation. I'd also like to thank Julie Kane for blessing the candles and very much thank our band for providing us with such beautiful music this evening. I'd like to thank Rabbi Alan Berlin, Randy Deutsch, Rami El Farah, Sarah Gutierrez, Dan Klein, and Aaron McAdams. Atzeret Simchat Torah will be celebrated on Monday, September 27th at 6 p.m. and Tuesday, September 28th at 10:30, both at the Temple. Yizkor memorial prayers will be offered during the morning service. On September 26th, the South Texas Blood and Tissue Center needs to collect an adequate blood supply for 67 hospitals in 43 Texas counties. Due to the current pandemic, there's a tremendous need. Donations are by appointment only, and registration information can be found in our weekly email. On Sunday, October 10th, 2021, Temple Beth-El, in partnership with the Jewish Community Relations Council, will be taking clothing donations on behalf of the Center for Refugee Services. Our community will be collecting gently used and new blankets and coats in sizes for men, women, and children until Sunday, October 17th. You can drop off your donations at the Jewish Community Center, which is located at 12500 Northwest Military Highway, or here at Temple Beth-El. Shabbat Shalom.
I just want to highlight Monday evening's Simchat Torah service. There is going to be a live band, this band pretty much, I'm pretty sure, singing and dancing. The service is set at an early time to encourage families to be there. It is light on liturgy and heavy on fun and rejoicing. As we finish reading Torah and begin reading Torah all at the same time, Rabbi Stahl is going to read the final words of Deuteronomy, and I'm going to read the first words of Bereshit. There are going to be flags, music, dancing. You should be there. It's meant for you. Our closing song is Oseh Shalom on page 62. If you need the words, please rise. Shabbat Shalom. If you are a consecrant, don't forget to grab your special letter bet cookie on your way out. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
1, 2, 3.